Hi, Jenny. Thanks so much for joining me today. You're more than welcome, and we're really, really pleased to have you speaking to us. Just wondering, if you could introduce yourself first of all and just tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Hi Katie, thanks so much for having us. My name is Jenny Ervine. I'm the co-founder of Raise Ventures. We are an accelerator program based in Belfast, focused on that early stage tech idea, where we help them take them from the idea through the customer validation to building their tech product and commercializing it. And once we help them through that journey, we try and connect them with investors to get investment to scale the business and grow it to the next stage. So that's what we do, and I'm really excited to be part of your conversation about entrepreneurship.
Thank you very much. That sounds like really, really interesting work. Hard work, but but interesting. So what then sort of, drove your journey or inspired your journey, into entrepreneurship?
I guess even from coming out of university, one of the first programs I was on as a student was a Premier program, and the placements for the graduates were with small businesses looking to try and grow their business, obviously on a low budget. And I actually got placed with a couple of startups, and I really enjoyed that kind of, you jumped right in, you were doing everything, you were making the tea, you were doing the marketing, you were even sometimes moving desks. That was the kind of mindset of the startups, even from when I was a graduate. So that kind of spurred my interest in startups. I was a marketeer by trade and ended up going into various kind of public sector and corporate jobs, but I kept getting pulled back into startups. And then when my first son was born, I went and started my own freelance marketing company. And that just kind of, entrepreneurship, I guess, is always there. It really drove me to want to help other businesses with their story and their background, and seeing other entrepreneurs and creating their story really it kind of inspired me. And then kind of 4, 5, 6 years later, started working more with startups from the investment side of things and saying, there's a real opportunity for local businesses here that have a really good story and they're really resilient and they just need a bit of funding. And I guess that's when Raise came about, whereby it grew from not just marketing, but helping them with their whole strategy and their business planning, and even in the investment piece. So, and your story works in all those points. And I love that bit of entrepreneurship about the story.
Amazing. That's great, Jenny. Thank you. So would you say then that that's the thing that you enjoy most about entrepreneurship, or is there anything else that you really, really enjoy about being an entrepreneur?
I really enjoy the flexibility. I love the fast pace element of it. Yes, you have to plan, you have to hit targets, but I love being able to be flexible. I love the networking and talking to other founders and finding out their journey. And yeah, obviously that's part of the story. So there's lots of different elements about entrepreneurship, and it is challenging. It is hard work. Sometimes it can be lonely, but I think with the networking opportunity out there with other entrepreneurs, and even Global Entrepreneurship Week, making that on a global stage, that's real opportunity now. We're online, we can talk to entrepreneurs from all around the world.
No, that's it. And as you say, it's, a time for opportunity. So that leads me nicely into COVID, the happy topic. I was just going to ask, has there been anything that's impacted your business because of COVID, or have you had to pivot or adapt anything? How's it been?
Yeah, no, thanks for asking. It is really important to check in with everybody. Our program was online before COVID, and we ran quite a lot of events in person with yourselves and with other kind of event hosts in the office, and we really had to move those online. So we did pivot quite a bit onto online and trying to build that community, and just realizing that people just wanted to chat. There was probably no opportunity for commercial value of online at the moment, but there's nothing to say down the road we're seeing bigger conferences moving online and that becoming maybe an opportunity. So I mean, the challenge is, for us and our startups, is just seeing what sector they're in. Some go really well because they're online, or they're a certain sector that's benefited from COVID. Some have had to stop because they're in a travel sector, for example. So it's just our role has moved from not just the business of strategy, but to more of a coaching and mentoring and trying to be supportive. So that's, I guess, the two sides of the coin with COVID, trying to look at the opportunity, but also trying to support the things that aren't going so well.
Yeah, no, that's it. It's about, taking stock and being realistic as well, isn't it? I saw this thing on Facebook the other day that said we're not all in the same boat, but we're all in the same storm. And I thought, yeah, that sums it up perfectly. So would you have, a top tip or maybe a piece of advice for current or for budding entrepreneurs across Northern Ireland, obviously, during this challenging time?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an optimist by trade. I look at this as an opportunity. If there's entrepreneurs out there going through hard times, reach out and talk to somebody. That conversation can spark an idea or spark just faith in what you're going through, and that you're not going down the wrong path. If you're thinking about entrepreneurship, obviously challenging times with people maybe being made redundant or looking for opportunities, now's a great time just to explore and have those conversations. You don't have to make it into a business right now, but you can at least ask the customer, is this something you might be interested in if I make this, and just kind of use this as a research time, because that's the one thing we have at the moment is time, because we're not out traveling, we're not out, in eating and drinking, but we have time to spend. And I think a lot of our companies are using this to research and build and formulate companies that are really going to solve problems. So that would be my tip.
Oh, that's brilliant, Jenny. Thank you. And that's something from, some of the other entrepreneurs that I've been interviewing, they've been saying similar things, that it's a time for opportunity, for innovation, and a time also just to take stock and to reflect, on how far the business has come, or if they've got a new idea where it could go, and utilising the time for planning. So you're just echoing that again. So it's nice to see we're all kind of on the same page.
Yeah.
So in relation then to Global Entrepreneurship Week, obviously, that's why we're running this little interview series. Do you feel that it's particularly important this year to celebrate Global Entrepreneurship Week in Northern Ireland?
Yes, I do. I mean, back to what we touched on earlier, that it's kind of that opportunity of the global networking. So finding people, yes, here in Northern Ireland, they're doing something similar, but also understanding what other entrepreneurs are doing in other countries and learning from them, because they could be at different stages in the innovation cycle, and they might be doing something that we could bring back here. I was just reading an article online on Belfast Live about a gentleman that's brought, is it low-calorie alcohol drink from America to here called
Yes,
seltzer.
I saw that. Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, that's, something's happening in America that he's brought here and he's tried to launch. So that's kind of where the global inspiration, I think, would be really useful, to tap into ideas from other places. And I mean, there's some great events happening. I always keep an eye on the Global Entrepreneurship website with yourselves on the 17th, and really looking forward to it. And there's a couple of other things happening in Belfast as well that week. So from our point of view, we would have an event section on our website, and we'll showcase those and support those and try and get as many people engaged as possible, just in terms of events, networking, and you just never know what's going to come out of those conversations.
No, that's it, isn't it? It's forming those connections, having those conversations, and as you say, you don't know what could come from it. Sometimes inspiration comes from the most unexpected places. So that's great, Jenny. Thank you, and it'll be lovely to have you along to our event. So thank you for booking your ticket for that. Look forward to welcoming you.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Do you think then that there's anything that could be done at the moment, to really support the NI, entrepreneurship ecosystem that perhaps maybe isn't being done? Any gaps that need filled, or maybe more support that is required?
Yeah, we've had a couple of conversations on this. My one kind of torch at the moment is working together. I've done a bit of a talk on this at Digital DNA coming up next week, and it's about the ecosystem working together. And if we can't help somebody, we know people who can, and signposting and making sure they get the right help as quickly as possible and the best help possible. And people are saying to us, like, can we do your program and can we do other stuff? And we're like, yes, of course. If you've got the time to touch or get as much advice as possible, then that would be great. But just be mindful of your time in terms of, how much can you do that mentoring and coaching, and how much you actually have to work on the business yourself. And quite often it's just making sure that they manage that time. So, I think what could we do more as leaders in this space is work together. So one of the things I have on my list to do, we did it last year, was a lunch in person with everybody from the ecosystem. I would like to do that virtually. Now, not sure if it'll fit into Global Entrepreneurship Week, but if it's not then, we'll do it before Christmas and maybe make it a Christmas thing. So again, just having that conversation of, right, okay, you guys do that, right, I know somebody you can help, and just making those connections as quickly as possible.
Yeah, no, that's it. And as you say there, collaboration is so key and so important, working together and, not seeing people as competition, that we can collaborate. And it was one of the other interviews with David Gibson that I was saying, I quoted the phrase wrong about when the tide rises, all the boats rise, but I couldn't remember how to say it properly, and I still can't. So, but
right,
you know what I'm trying.
Yeah.
There we go. Someone knows it properly. Oh, that's brilliant, Jenny. Thank you. So just to finish off, then, is there anything that you would say, a final message, or maybe sort of just a closing thought or closing remarks, with regards to Global Entrepreneurship Week, and then obviously entrepreneurs that are trying to move forward at this time?
If you have an idea, start now. Don't leave it. Don't have any regrets, would be my first thought. And my second thought would be, if you're an entrepreneur, keep going. Sometimes you have tough times, but the high times that come that are really good are well worth waiting for. So that would be my two thoughts today.
That's brilliant, Jenny. Thank you so much. Do you have any socials or any websites you want to shout out or anything? Just people can connect with you and find you.
If you want to check our program out and our events, check out raise-ventures.com, and you can follow us on all the social media channels. So check us out. Look forward to keeping in touch with everybody on Global Entrepreneurship Week.
Perfect. That's great, Jenny. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a really great rest of your year. I hope Global Entrepreneurship Week is good for you, and then it seems strange to say, but also Christmas. Thanks very much, Jenny.
Cheers.
Thank you.